When the whole family comes together to watch the game, nobody wants to miss a second of the action to run to the grocery store. With Instacart, you can get all your weekly groceries in as fast as an hour. Less time shopping means more game time. Let's go. Visit instacart.com to get free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. $10 minimum per order. Additional terms apply.
The following is a GoPowercat.com and Spirit Street production. You've discovered your link to GoPowercat.com's Powercat Insiders Podcast, presented by Commerce Bank, and it starts right now. Now, let's go to the WTC Gig-Powered Studios. Here's your host, GoPowercat.com publisher, Tim Fitzgerald.
Welcome to another edition of the Powercat Insiders Podcast, brought to you by Commerce Bank. No Matt Walters today. He actually has responsibilities. I don't know. Tim Fitzgerald, Ryan Black, Kellis Robinette, and sitting in right here in studio, WIBW Sports Director Tyler Griever.
Ratings are about to spike.
Oh, yeah. No Matt, the ladies come back listening.
I can't match that introduction. Like, I'm not going to live up to any of that.
Well, I'm glad you dressed up as a Capitals fan today. Not just a Capitals fan, kind of a homeless Capitals fan.
I mean, when the temperature goes up, man, my effort goes down, in a lot. You know,
when the temperature goes down?
No, yes, the effort's going to go up when the temperature goes down. When the temperature goes up, the effort goes down. More comfy clothes.
Well, and you can speak.
Okay,
you can speak to this, Tyler. I mean, having lived in Virginia too, it's like this is like the same weather right now that you would have. In
Virginia?
That area.
It's probably colder than it'd be in Virginia. I'm not going to lie. Kansas is
just maybe a little windier.
Colder. Yeah, definitely windier. Like, I don't hear the wind howling when I'm going to sleep at night in Virginia. So we spent more time on that than we probably did.
It wasn't one of our pleasant things we arranged in Kansas.
No.
Howling cold wind and humidity to go with 100-degree weather. That's our...
It's beautiful.
The wind surge.
Yeah, the wind surge. God bless.
Name's not starting to sound so bad, is it?
Man alive. Life is full of moments, big and small. Commerce Bank has the technology and the people to help with whatever financial challenges come your way. Commerce Bank, challenge accepted. How's that? Done. Matt, we didn't even miss you. Okay, boys, Liberty Bowl. And what's great about this is... Kellis has been doing this a long time, but in some sense, you have more of an outside view than I would as an alum website guy. How did you feel about the selection, and someone just hop in here, of the K-State slipping all the way to the Liberty Bowl, if you want to describe it as that?
Well, I thought you asked Kellis first. I want to let him jump in.
No, go ahead.
Didn't you ask him first?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you want to go?
No, I want to let you go.
You go.
I mean, you're actually...
And that's it for the podcast.
Tyler, you didn't ever cover the Liberty Bowl, right?
No.
So, see, I haven't either, so you ought to go first, Kellis. You've actually covered this.
Yeah, well, I'm wearing the shirt.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that gives you kind
What
of...
fond memories I have of that event.
I mean, I was a little surprised. I thought going into the day, I thought signs were pointing that they'd go Alamo.
Me too.
Unless... they took Texas, and I thought if they slipped, they'd go to the Camping World. I thought Kansas State would get the nod there over Iowa State, having just beat them. But the thing you always got to remember in the Big 12 bowl cycle is none of that matters.
Nope.
If a bowl likes a team for its fan base or name or its coach's brand, there's really no reason why they don't have to take a team or can take any other team. So, it's the Wild West on Selection Sunday sometimes, and when you get 4 teams tied in the final standings like we had this year, I guess we probably should have expected some unpredictability. I get why people are a little peeved about it. You could definitely say that Kansas State had the best resume of any of those teams. Maybe if you really want to compare them, maybe Oklahoma State 1, K-State 2, Texas 3, Iowa State 4. It's kind of interesting that the cycle flipped there. The list,
the 2, 7, and 5
exact
teams.
opposite. So, a little weird, but the more I've gotten away from the initial kind of shock and disappointment of the announcement, it's growing on me a little bit. You get to play Navy; they're ranked.
It's kind of cool.
You don't have to travel on Christmas afternoon kickoff, so you can still go out on New Year's Eve. And from what I've heard, they're going to treat K-State a little bit better this time in Memphis. They're giving them the prime hotel. There's not going to be Arkansas fans everywhere overrunning the game. So I still would have preferred one of the other bowls, but it's warm. It's growing on me.
Well, I bet the Liberty Bowl's overjoyed because K-State fans, even though they're a little bit disappointed, will show up. So they'll have fans there.
How was the attendance last time they went, Kellis, per your shirt?
It was sold out, but it was all Arkansas.
Oh no. Okay, but I mean K-State. How did K-State travel for the game?
Right.
They sold out their allotment of like 6,000, but that was about it.
Well, I mean, my opinion, obviously.
I mean, for a normal bowl, had Arkansas not swallowed up every other seat, it would have been a fine turnout for Kansas State.
How many stories did you guys write about Bielema that game? Like heading into it, just the Snyder and Snyder loves him.
Of course, I covered him when he was here, so I knew him, and so we did some from that angle. But he was very entertaining when it came. Does
he remember you? It's like, oh, Fitz, hey.
Yeah.
Did you guys hit Beale Street after the game together?
No, we didn't do anything fun last time. I'm going to be honest with our subscribers. We worked way too hard last time, and we're not going to do that. We just cranked out. Well, we cranked out so much.
Team too.
I like the candor.
We put out so much stuff. There was no way they could absorb it all.
Yeah.
And all we did was sit in a Homewood Suites by the FedEx office because we saved $1 by not going to the media hotel. It was kind of expensive that year. And we just worked, and it wasn't fun. And we listened to the automatic gunfire at midnight. It's beautiful. It was a beautiful night in Memphis.
It is kind of funny that the last time they went there, they were 6-6, and kind of a miracle that they even got to that. And now they're having this really good year, and they're 8-4, and
I know
back there again.
It just doesn't. The bowl thing doesn't make sense, but. Tyler, do you have a thought on it?
I was just surprised that Iowa State in any way would get, I guess, a preferential treatment over K-State, or a bowl committee would select them before K-State. That's like the only thing that comes to mind for me. I like Memphis as a place. Like, this is just personally me speaking, so I don't mind them going there, and it actually fits with some personal plans I have, so I was celebrating when they got picked there yesterday.
Oh, you're going to get to go?
Yeah.
I just never know how the TV stations, how you guys do these things.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had like an official conversation about it yet, so maybe I'm speaking before I should, but we plan on
I'll send you a postcard if you don't come.
Sure, yeah. Like, I
wish you were here, Tyler.
Hey, like, I'm going home for Christmas like the 22nd through the 26th, so I get back and then I'm ready to travel again. But I don't know. I guess if you were upset about it, like in the grand scheme of things, 10 years down the road, are you really going to remember that they got chosen to go to the Liberty Bowl instead of like the Alamo Bowl? I don't know.
You're going to remember if it's 8 or 9 wins.
Right. You might be something you're mad about like in the moment, but then just take a step back and realize like 5 years from now, you'll remember that they had a 9-win season or an 8-win season. And that's kind of the gist of it to me.
Well, again, I'm going to echo what both of you guys have already said and just say that to me, I was surprised that K-State fell to now what was the lowest bowl on the Big 12 ladder because they didn't have enough. They didn't have enough teams to make it to the Cheez-It or the First Responder.
Thank you, Air Force, for filling in for the Big 12 at the Cheez-It Bowl.
Man, that's going to be a fascinating game, though. Them in Washington State.
I know.
That is going to be fun to watch with the contrasting styles.
Yeah.
But to me, I will take the stand and say, Kellis, that to me, if you're going by the deserving thing, and if I was able to pick the bowls, I think Oklahoma State should have gone to the Alamo. They are the only ranked team. And then if you say, okay, it's them and K-State are above Texas and Iowa State because of the overall record, Oklahoma State beat them head up, and it was a game that was not nearly as close as the 26-13 score. It was more like a 38-16 or something I'm sorry, did I say 26-13? I want to make sure I said that was the score to that Oklahoma State game. And then so from there I would have thought, again, if it's going by only fairness only and how it should have been, K-State should have gone to Camping World. Yeah. Just based off what they did.
I agree with that. Purely merit-based, it should have gone Oklahoma State, K-State, Iowa State, Texas.
Correct. No, 100%. And then, like I said, that's the thing is, so then it ended up being the exact opposite. They just inversed it, is what we would call that. And, the thing that I'm shocked, because I don't know if you guys read this or saw this headline, the fact that one of the big selling points for Iowa State is that Matt Campbell is a brand.
National brand.
But who has ever, that's what I'm saying, who has ever said, well, let's go watch Coach Belichick or Coach Saban or Coach whoever. You're going there to watch the team.
It's weird to me.
To be fair,
it is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
To be fair, it was their athletic director saying that. So, I mean, that could completely be a lie.
The only time I can ever understand that being a real thing is if you've heard this coach is going to retire at this game. It's like, well, it's going to be the last time you get to see him on the sideline.
I find that weird because if you're the athletic director, I know you just signed him to another extension. Do you really want to start pushing your coach as a brand because you're almost advertising for people to come after?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's just kind of strange. And
My favorite conspiracy theory was that there are 3 Camping World stores or vendors or whatever you want to call it in Iowa and 0 in Kansas.
Oh,
and
well, I mean,
that's the deciding factor.
You know what? That's a pretty good theory right there.
This whole thing is dumb, man.
I know. It's
just
dumb.
straight up stupid. I'm sorry.
And it always brings me back to this. Can we stop talking about the tradition and gallantry of the bowl situation here?
Yeah.
They're all about a buck. They sell their name. They aren't what they used to be.
What I was going to say to you for a second when you were mentioning the pecking order of the bowls is how many casual college football fans know that the conferences have contractual obligations to these bowls to slot teams in, or even know that there is a pecking order? Because I would think a high percentage of them don't even know that, which is fine. Like, that's totally reasonable.
Well, you said casual fan, right?
Yeah, well, heck, even go slightly above casual fan even knows that there's a pecking order.
Well, you're right. Just because you're going to have people who say, well, even in the New Year's Six Bowl, it's like, well, okay, how is Penn State in versus instead of Utah?
Right.
Well, it's because there are just certain things that have to happen.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, why in the Orange Bowl, like, people are like, well, why the heck is Virginia there? Well, it's because if there's an ACC team in the playoff, an ACC team has to be in the Orange Bowl.
Don't they have to be ranked? I think they have to be ranked, and that was one of the conspiracy theories I heard.
Do they have to be ranked to be in a New Year's Six Bowl?
Yeah, that Virginia got put in, and it bumped Utah. Probably Penn State would have. No, Penn State wouldn't have gone there.
I'm not sure.
Utah would have been in at that point.
Who's Virginia playing in the Orange Bowl?
Florida.
Oh, okay.
They're playing Florida.
See, then Penn State probably would have played Florida in that bowl game, and Utah would have been back.
Well, I'm just trying to think that the point that the fact that we're even having this discussion
which oddly hurt K-State somehow.
Well, I'm saying
that's exactly what my point is.
But I'm saying that the fact, Tyler, that we're even having this discussion shows you, because we're trying. I'm almost positive, though, Fitz.
We do this for a living. And
if we looked this up, I think, and this is where it's even crazier, there has to be an ACC team in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
So even if it was a 6-6 team, but see, so their opponent is this weird combination of either a Big Ten team, an SEC team, or Notre Dame. And where that's crazy, right, is that everyone thinks Notre Dame being an ACC school based in every sport but football. But because Notre Dame gets to be its own private entity in football, they have all of these separate side agreements. So in certain years, there basically has to be like a rotating number between. It's always going to be an ACC team in there unless it's a playoff game, and then they'll face either an SEC, Big Ten, or Notre Dame. So I'm saying it doesn't matter. Like
the Orange Bowl might want to revisit that based on the quality of teams in the ACC.
It's possible.
Hey, Florida State just made a great hire. I think Mike Norvell. I think is going to do great there.
Yeah,
I think he was a fantastic hire. Home run.
Big picture though, it's not that much to get worked up about. That's my point.
Well, Tyler, what do you think about your alma mater?
About Missouri?
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, I like it as a little bit out of the box instead of. I mean, he's 36. I think he's got about a year of head coaching experience coming out of App State. He's got a good offensive background, so I just want something that was going to excite me a little bit. And
does it excite you?
Yes, even though Elijah Drinkwitz sounds like his family's been curating moonshine for about 50 years.
That is a great name.
And that fits in Missouri. I'll tell you that. He sounds like he's got
a guy like that needs to have like a Hazleton beard.
Either that or...
Yeah, no, it's a Jewish name. I don't know if he's Jewish or not, but it's a Jewish name.
His grandpappy had a riverboat probably in 1932.
Oh,
but,
man.
You know, I'm down with it.
But I'll just say that my only question about that hire is just the fact that, I mean, he did take over a program that is so fantastic. And he's
he did.
He's got to try to build something at Mizzou. At least he's in the easier division.
At least he hit like the max at App State.
Yeah.
I will say that. Like he fully took advantage of. What are they? 12-1 and
12-1
ranked.
Yeah, their only loss was to Georgia
That's a heck
Southern.
of an accomplishment.
You talk about a dude that strapped himself to a rocket ship.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm
head coach at App State. App State
for
for 1 year, now I'm in the SEC.
Yeah, it's a big jump.
I'm not going to ask you because I think you probably know. Could either of you say what town or even what state App State is in?
It's in Georgia.
No, it's in North Carolina.
Yeah.
It's in North
okay,
Carolina.
so Kellis got that. Do you know what city?
Boone something?
There you go. No, it's Boone.
Do you know what county Columbia, Missouri's in? Boone County.
No way.
That's probably why they did it.
That's it.
Boom.
And that's spelled
Everything
the same.
comes together.
Spelled the same way.
Boone.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I would also like to point out just how wild it is that a year after Mike Norvell finished third in the Kansas State coaching search.
Correct.
He's the
Ends up at
winner
Florida
at
State.
Florida
State.
Yeah.
That shows you how different
Right.
coaching cycles can be year to year.
Right, and there really was kind of a shortage of candidates this year. Look what Arkansas reached and did. And that's one of those hires that, kind of like what K-State did. It works for them.
Yeah.
Nobody else might have done it.
Arkansas hiring a Georgia offensive line coach just sounds like perfect.
Do you
That was
guys?
his previous job?
I think so.
Yeah,
I
he's
think he was
Georgia's
the
offensive
coach.
line coach. Do you know the last head coaching job that he had? I saw it in this story.
No.
Hutchinson Community College. The
Really?
last time
Yeah, good for him.
The
That's
last time he's been a
great. Good
head
for him.
coach of any program was at Hutch. He has not ever been I don't know if he's ever even been a coordinator at the college
love
level.
Arkansas, man. Love it. It's great.
Arkansas's in trouble.
I think they got
Well,
problems.
I mean, it might work because he can recruit, but man, I just think
He's going to have to really recruit.
It's a tough. Because especially now that Ole Miss just hired Lane Kiffin, I think that's a great hire.
I really do like that hire. He just fits Ole Miss.
Bad news for Joe Moorhead though.
Yeah, and Joe Moe was talking some smack later in the year at a couple of those press conferences. Like, he was out there saying, "This is my program. You're gonna have to drag my Yankee butt out of here."
Yeah.
I like that. That's the way I'd handle it.
I don't know. I feel
I
like
did
it
see
was a
someone
little-
that
it was a
quote
little
tweeted it and
forced.
said, "You shouldn't tempt them, Joe,"
That was
because
me.
they might. What
That
they?
was
It's like
literally me.
I
Yes.
mean, they might.
I'm just shocked they ever made that hire.
To get Moorhead, I liked it at first, but I don't know.
Not who it was. He is a Yankee
Yeah, he
at
is.
Mississippi State.
But so was Dan
Yes.
Mullen.
Yep, he was. I mean, Dan Mullen's from New Hampshire, I think, originally.
Either New Hampshire or Connecticut. I
yeah,
can't remember which one.
he doesn't fit Starkville at all, like in terms of the culture there. But yeah, Joe
But he won.
He did. He did a heck of a job, man. He really did, and he's doing a good job at Florida too.
Well, speaking of good jobs, Chris Kleiman really did a nice job with
Heck
his
of a
first
job.
team.
Yep.
And there were some questions about this team. They had some clunker performances, and I wonder if the Bulls were like, we don't want them to come down here and not block anyone and just get rolled over.
I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think it's what we're talking about. It's just literally Texas was a brand. That's where they went first. Whatever you believe about this Matt Campbell things, whatever. Obviously, Texas Bowl was going to take Oklahoma State because they'd never been there. So this is the last, and I know I'm glad we were shifting back to the bowl thing. I just want to make sure that I say that I know, like you said, now that we can look at the regular season hindsight, people feel like K-State, who are fans, got screwed. But it's like if you had told any K-State fan before this season you're going to finish tied for third in the league, 8-4 overall, and you're going to beat Oklahoma, and it's going to be the only loss Oklahoma has the entire year, they would take it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And so now we're just arguing the semantics of, well, we want to go to this bowl versus this bowl. But it's still an amazing first season for Chris Kleiman.
I mean, wasn't the Liberty Bowl really the only bowl game to have many reps in Manhattan for games?
They were consistently there.
They did show the most consistent interest in them.
Because I remember them at a couple of them that I went to, and I just don't remember seeing any.
And they were at Mississippi
I could be
State,
wrong.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to be overjoyed. I think this is who they wanted.
Oh, 100%.
I think K-State fans showed up in good enough numbers. And, the thing about K-State fans is they don't just roll in for the game and roll out. Maybe Arkansas did that a little bit. They show up. They show up in big numbers, and they're there for, they'll be there for 3 days or so at least.
Well, Callis mentioned the practicality of it, and I think that's the best part of it to me is that you can celebrate Christmas at home. It's a drivable game if you live in this area. It's not around the corner, but it's makeable. And if you want to do like a New Year's thing in Memphis, not a bad town, also not that expensive of a town. Like, I actually think it's a solid little trip if you want to make it.
I agree. Plus, pretty damn good barbecue.
Central Barbecue, man, I'm telling you.
Their barbecue's not any good.
Whoa.
Kellis with a hot take.
Their barbecue is bad. I'll go ahead and just say that. Other than their coleslaw, I like their coleslaw.
Whoa.
Dang.
Coleslaw.
Are you a coleslaw person?
Absolutely not.
Nope,
Not either.
not me.
All right, well,
Smells
pass
like
it over this way.
We're going to do that.
I have not had Memphis barbecue, so I'm looking forward to trying
I
some.
ate Memphis barbecue every day when I was there last year, and I didn't have a good experience at any of the places.
What were you there last year for?
I mean, for the bowl.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Let's not talk about that bowl game. 2016 K-State and Arkansas, a complete mismatch in that game. Arkansas was really good
Who did Arkansas have that year, like player-wise? I don't remember.
a bunch of
They
big
had a
dudes.
really good tight end, Hunter Henry.
Hunter Henry.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
No.
I am going to the bowl game, believe it or not. I haven't gone on the road with football all year. I've decided I'm going to the bowl game, and I'm taking podcasting equipment if anyone would like to join me at any point. I'm setting up shop in Memphis.
Oh, I think defensive lineman who plays for the Patriots now. was also on that team.
Oh, the Arkansas team?
Yes. What's his name? I'm just blanking on it right now, but I'm almost positive he was on that team too.
Was like Alex Collins the running back then?
I don't.
Yeah, that's
yes, that's correct.
Okay.
He would have been there.
God, I just remember that press box sucking.
That might have been the year. Do you remember that Arkansas Ole Miss game where they had the lateral, like 20 yards across the field to win on like 4th down to go to overtime? Do you remember that in Oxford? That game was insane.
But I think that would have been a different year because that's what kept Arkansas out of a bowl game. They needed to win that game, so that would have probably been 2016.
Because they did win that game in Ole Miss. Like that's what I'm saying. Like Hunter Henry threw it across the field. Collins picked it up and ran it for a first down.
I just thought there was something that happened in that game that maybe that prevented Ole Miss from getting to the bowl.
Yeah,
I just
it
thought
might have prevented Ole Miss from going to the SEC championship game.
I just remember there was something crazy that because Arkansas won that game that it changed everything.
I'll double check it. I might be mixing up years, and we can talk about this when we're not on the Kansas State football podcast.
But you're right. I'm almost positive you're right that Alex Collins would have been on that team.
Who invited the SEC guys?
Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't know what happened here. We just lost control. Navy. I'm kind of excited about seeing Navy. There's something about seeing one of the academies in action. It's going to be an interesting matchup schematically for Kansas State. And, Scotty Hazelton being out of his time in the Mountain West has some experience trying to stop that offense that, very similar to what Air Force was running, ironically, Air Force. But a lot of running. We'll be in and out of there in an hour and a half. It's going to be nice.
That's the best part right there.
Yep.
I mean, I think they'll even shorten halftime. Everyone will just run around all through halftime and just wind it up and let's get it going here, guys.
They lead the country in rushing by 49 yards.
Yeah, I read that yesterday.
The 3 service academies are the top 3 rushing teams in the country.
And then Army's like almost 20 yards ahead of Air Force, right?
Correct.
It was like 360, 311, and then like 292.
Yep.
And they've only played 11 games, and they rank number 1 in rushing yards, number 3 in rushing attempts, and number 5 in rushing average.
It's crazy.
So,
it's kind of unique. You get all of us, whether you're a fan or a member of the media, you get to watch them play a game before the bowl game. It's very strange.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing it in person, seeing their run game. I mean, because I did cover a couple of games when I was in college, and Georgia Southern came and played Georgia because obviously Monken, who is now at Army, was Georgia Southern's coach at that time. And so I have seen it before, but I'm interested to see it again, especially in a bowl setting. And then on top of the fact that I've never seen a service academy, and I want to see what kind of attendance they bring.
If I go, I'm not looking forward to shooting it. I'll tell you that. I hate
because of all the misdirection, you don't know where the ball is.
It's so hard. You gotta keep your head on a swivel with that stuff.
Well,
really
I can't follow it.
Tyler, read your key.
Without a camera in front of my face.
Like I feel like I'm Wyatt Hubert trying to set the edge or just keep my eye on the ball every time.
Now, if you're Chris Kleiman, are you excited about this matchup? And here's why I say this: because what problem has your defense had all year?
stopping the run.
Tackling, stopping the run. And now you get to really challenge your guys to pay attention to details.
Yep.
You've talked about the need to wrap up better. If you don't wrap up in this game, you're going to be humiliated by this running game.
I think it's an excellent opportunity to test your team's discipline as a whole, because that's what it takes to stop an offense like that. It's assignment football, controlling your gaps and being able to know your keys and commit to them the whole game. Like, it's the ultimate test of that, to try and stop them.
And we talked about last week, like, DeQuan Patton improving in that area, but I think like for him and like Eli Sullivan, exactly what they do your assignments. Don't try to blow somebody up.
No, yeah,
just do what you're supposed to do.
Literally what it is. But I think you do have an advantage of having guys on the edge like Reggie and Wyatt, who are good players, experienced players, and very smart as a whole, because they'll be as important as anybody in that.
If
game.
you guys were K-State's coaching staff, this is just me, would you guys not want to have like the team on Saturday sit down and watch the game all together, like in the theater?
I don't think it'd be a bad idea.
I'm sure they're going to be practicing instead.
I mean, that's a pretty good idea.
They'll exhaustively study it anyway after it's over, but sure. I mean, I don't see why not. It's a unique advantage to have.
Will they bring a boat? I just want a boat. They just roll a boat.
They'll bring a lot of. I'm sure they'll have an awesome turnout.
Like a destroyer in the parking lot. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be cool.
On like
a boat on land.
But like,
on the Mississippi River, bring it.
Right.
Sure,
I mean, just be. Are you wanting an F-350? An F-350 could probably pull that.
Are you wanting more of a flotilla or an armada?
Oh, my God, I don't know the difference. I don't know the difference.
It's fine. I'm just throwing out.
I don't. Oh, my God.
Don't worry, I don't know the difference either. But
I'm just throwing out seafaring terms.
Fleet. My grandpa was in the Navy, and I don't know.
Terms. Okay.
He ain't a landlubber.
Do you have much nautical wear? Anything you can bring to this game?
I have a compass that sits on my coffee table.
Which direction is it pointing?
Well, it's more for show. It's unfortunately not a real compass, but it looks cool.
How is it not a real compass?
Show?
It's just
A compass only has
when
one
does
job.
that ever happen? When have
It's
you
just
ever
what
shown this compass to anyone?
It's just.
Is that like how you impress chicks? Does it come back up
No,
to my
it
room
has-
and
See my
see
compass?
Has it worked to my advantage? let's say.
compass for show?
That's fantastic.
What's a compass's job? North. Hey, compass, what are you doing? North.
Well, I just meant that it looks like a compass. It's not actually one that's been like.
Your challenge
fake
for this
compass?
bowl game is to bring the compass, and you have to navigate from the media hotel to the stadium with
Why-
nothing but the
I wouldn't-
compass.
Like, is
That's
this
it.
hanging on your wall? Is it
No,
a pocket
I said
thing?
it's sitting on my coffee table.
You should wear it like a chain. That's what you should do.
It is
Flavor Flav
Yep.
Black.
it is
Yeah.
very
Big
heavy.
old
How
compass.
big is this compass?
Is it average size? Or?
I mean, it's about the size of like a donut, like a regular
that's
size.
a big compass.
But it's just a faux compass. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, it's just for looks. I mean,
Does it have a needle at all?
yes, that's what I'm saying. It has a needle on it. Yeah.
Does it say north, west, east, south?
It's gonna sound bad.
You
again.
don't
It's
know.
been so long since I've looked at it because I'm not in my apartment having to figure out what direction I'm walking.
North.
You know, and I haven't taken it out to use it out on the town.
Our compass is pointing to a break. We'll be right back on the Powercat Insiders Podcast.
Stay locked in. The Powercat Podcast will be right back.
Selling a little or a lot? Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage, to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's here to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system, wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 15% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. And sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US. And Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's award-winning 24/7 help is there to support your success every step of the way. Because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast.
If you're in the market for investment-worthy bags, watches, and fine jewelry, Rebag is the answer. Rebag is a luxury resale marketplace where each piece is carefully vetted and verified by experts to ensure quality and authenticity. If you're in the market, use Rebag to buy and sell finds from the world's top brands, including Hermes, Chanel, and Cartier. Head to Rebag.com to get 10% off your first purchase with code REBAG10. Shop today at Rebag.com. That's REBAG.com and use promo code REBAG10 for 10% off your first purchase.
We now send it back to Fitz in the WTC gig-powered studios.
Welcome back to the Powercat Insiders Podcast. We
navigated back correctly
exactly.
too.
We try to work through the giggles over the compass that doesn't compass. Well, I've got a car. It doesn't drive.
Well, if I don't make it to the bowl game, guys, just assume that I got lost in the Bermuda Triangle.
It's east. It's east.
My cheeks hurt from laughing.
Yeah,
Can't do this.
Good stuff. We are sponsored by Commerce Bank. Commerce has the technology and the people to help with whatever your financial challenges come your way. Commerce Bank, challenge accepted. Matt Walters is not in with us today. He is actually doing work things. I think he said he had to go speak to grade grade school kids. I don't know how that's part of his job, but I apologize to the grade school.
Yeah.
Tim Fitzgerald, Ryan Black, Kellis Robinette, and Tyler Griever from WIBW sitting in with us today, and he actually made the drive from Topeka to Manhattan.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm off work today, so why not?
Yeah. I get to do that every week, so I'm glad you
get to experience it.
He's more dedicated than us. I sometimes don't even want to drive across town.
Could you just call me? Kellis, if it ever gets to that point, we'll call you.
That's hilarious.
Let's talk a little bit of basketball before we circle back around to football, mostly because I'm out of football questions. So now let's talk some basketball. What was the final score? I didn't write it down.
73-65.
I thought K-State played okay. I did.
Yeah, that's the sad part, really.
I mean, it was their lowest in terms of, 32-point-something%. It was their worst shooting performance of the season.
Well, shooting is shooting. This team sucks at it.
Yeah.
They can't even shoot free throws.
No.
So it's not about they're getting defended. You put them at a line with nobody around them, and they can't shoot.
I don't think we talk about that enough. Like, they're really bad at the free throw line. I mean...
That's inexcusable.
Yeah, I mean, because...
At any level.
How many free throws did they miss the other day? I don't even know off the top of my head, but I mean, heck, if you make...
I think they were like 18 for 32.
I mean,
roughly.
That's a good day.
That's a good day by their standards.
God, make 10 of those.
They were 4 of 10 in the first half, what I remember.
It's a different game. I just don't know if we play that up enough. They're really bad.
They're awful shooting the ball, shooting from the free throw line.
I don't have any analytical take on that. They're just bad.
They're awful inside 5 feet.
Yeah. Well, that's what stood out to me the other day was that they had plenty of easy bucket opportunities. I remember Xavier Sneed had a straight-up fast break layup that he just blew. I mean, he had to make a move right at the end to get by somebody, but they had opportunities off second chance points, fast break. You convert those, you might win the game. Honestly, that's what I think.
Or even just miss them in a way that the other team's not scoring immediately on the other end.
That's what killed them.
What I found encouraging about the game was it was the first time I thought Kansas State dug in and competed for an extended period of time this season.
Yeah, they never looked flat.
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
The effort, Bruce Weber likes to say, even when they play poorly and go through the motions, that they had good effort. When they don't, they had good effort in that game. And it was a lot of the freshmen, the 2 freshmen. I mean, they were trying to get in fights.
I think that's a kind of an early theme of the season is that the 2 Gordons and Murphy, when he's healthy, is that there's not an effort problem with those kids.
Nope.
At all.
They play very hard.
I think they fit the quote-unquote culture of effort.
You know who they remind me of?
Well. Huh.
They remind me of the basketball version of Josh Youngblood.
Really?
They just all play with like a reckless abandon. And like, maybe they're a little raw, but I'd rather have somebody going out there playing hard and making mistakes 100 miles an hour than being tentative.
Well, that feels like something that's hard to teach a high school kid about. Like, that's the biggest effort from high school basketball to college basketball is that your effort level pretty much has to be consistent the whole time. Because there are high school games where you probably give 70% and
you're so much 25. Better than everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so that's an adjustment.
And defense. And they played defense pretty well.
Yeah, I thought Dejuan Gordon was very good on defense the other night. I thought he was solid.
It was weird.
I was very struck after the game, though, that when Bruce Weber said, it's just too bad we have to rely so much on those guys.
Yeah.
He was coming as close as he could to calling out some people in that game.
That was interesting. He did mention leadership. And
the question you asked him was, I thought the answer he gave on that was very interesting to me. And then Cardi just kind of, I think I followed up on it after you asked Bruce that. And it sounded like he just kind of disagreed that there was a quote-unquote leadership problem outside of Xavier Sneed, having someone else step up and be a voice. So that's kind of an interesting dynamic.
Well, I think Cardi and Xavier get it. They care.
Yeah.
They want to lead. It's the drop-off between those two down to the freshmen. I think everybody in the middle is just kind of, if they screw up, they'd rather go to the bench than talk to the coaches.
Sure.
And that's one thing I've definitely noticed is it seems like the only 2 people who want to engage with Bruce and have a conversation about what do we need to do better are those 2 seniors. Everybody else on the team is just kind of like, especially like Dejuan Gordon, if he makes a mistake, you almost have to take him out of the game. He gets so mad about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It strikes me that the narrative on Bruce early on and coming out of Illinois was he couldn't build a culture in the locker room. And that's why he always succeeded with someone else's players. The culture was in place. Barry Brown really was the minister of culture for Kansas State basketball for the last 3, maybe 4 seasons.
Dynamite drop.
I just want a shirt that says minister of culture. That's it.
And he really did take charge of the locker room. He really was like the adult coach in that locker room in the off season. Let's be honest, Xavier's not that kind of kid. He's just not.
He's a lot more soft-spoken.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
for the
no.
record. Like I think too often in sports we confuse leadership with like just yelling and talking all the time. You don't have to be that way to be a leader whatsoever. Like I don't think anybody would question Xavier.
Tim Duncan wasn't that way.
No, he wasn't that way at all. And Xavier's a good college player. Like it's different. It's a different.
I think he suffered from. And Cardi also, from the weight of everything.
Sure.
All of a sudden, I've got to score, I've got to lead, I've got to handle the ball.
Bruce mentioned
I'm the go-to
that the other
guy.
night, I'm pretty sure.
And watching this team, it strikes me the only real natural leaders that I see, the guys that want to take charge, even though they're immature, are the freshmen.
Yeah.
And I think this team's upside down, and I think there's probably some friction in that locker room. This is just purely guessing. When you have freshmen that are so assertive, some of your veterans can kind of push back on that. They are playing like a team that just doesn't know who they are or who's doing what at certain times. They're just kind of running around. And it's very frustrating to watch. But I've said this over and over. I feel really good about the future of K-State basketball because I think they got 3 dudes. They may not be All-American, but they're going to be players for a long time.
Well, I think Bruce is realizing it early, too, that if they're going to play their best basketball this year, it's with the freshmen getting more minutes than the Levi Stockards, the Sean Williams, and those guys. Like, I think it's readily apparent that that's what he's got to do, especially when Montavious is back.
Well, Fitz, you were the one who called for this last week, and it just seems obvious the more that you watch is like they need to get David Sloan more minutes. I don't know why he's not in the lineup yet.
Yeah. I mean,
He's the best passer on the team by far. I mean, Cardi has the assist numbers, but he doesn't have, to me, the vision and his natural knack for it that Sloan seems to have.
Yeah. Well, the problem is every time they pass, there's nobody there to finish with a basket. Nobody can shoot.
Yep.
And when, like, David Sloan had a good idea that last game, he threw a lob pass to Mac. Mac missed it by 2 yards.
2 yards.
it was so bad.
It was
so bad. I almost caught it.
I mean, and, this goes back to guys, too, like where K-State basketball is kind of like K-State football, where we talk about the margin for error, is because they always rely so heavily on their defense. If they're not shooting well, it makes it even tougher. Man, right now they're not shooting well.
They're not going to shoot it well.
Yeah, they're not.
I was thinking about watching Marcus Howard made me think. I mean, he made some of those shots so effortlessly. When was the last time K-State had like a legitimate good shooter?
Just a bucket getter, man.
Poland? Has it been that long?
Yeah, and Poland really wasn't one. If you go back to his freshman season, he just wasn't natural at it. He made himself a good shooter, which is hard to do. Henson, maybe? Will Scott?
Going back to the 80s?
Yeah.
Long time.
Bob Boozer?
This has been
I would
a
have
thing.
thought you'd have said,
I remember him well.
who was the sharpshooter for Woolley? Was it?
Cartier was pretty.
Yeah. What? I'm spacing on his last name. Was that Cartier Diarra?
Martin.
Or Martin? Okay. There was another player, Diarra something. Yeah. Cartier
Drummond
Martin.
Diarra.
There you go.
Known for playing one good game, but it was in Allen Fieldhouse. That's all. The only thing he did his whole career was played really well when Woolridge won in Allen Fieldhouse, and nobody can explain it.
Well, I mean,
it's kind of like the pyramids. We don't know how it happened. We'll just accept it as fact.
But it's just so weird. Like, there's nobody you can throw the ball to on this team with an open shot and even be confident that it's going in.
It has bothered me about Kansas State recruiting for a number of years through a number of coaches that they just don't go get that guy. Baylor always has one. That guy. Hey, I'm at 25 feet. Oh, you're not going to cover me? 3 points. I mean, you just got to have that guy that stretches a defense that can come in and give you, 3 possessions, 9 points, that kind of sudden scoring. They don't have that.
I just wonder if they don't. Yeah, maybe they just don't value it on the recruiting trail. I know, like, who was the dude?
Well, they get caught up in athleticism.
Well, who was the guy in the NCAA tournament last year who broke the all-time record for 3-pointers at that small school? You remember who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what.
He played on Barry Brown's AAU team.
I have no idea.
Well, whatever his name is, he was an absolute sharpshooter, and K-State thought about recruiting him.
the Wofford kid.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember his name. But yeah, he played for Wofford.
But K-State was in on that kid. They looked at him, and they took him to Bruce and said, this guy can flat out shoot it. What do you think? And he said, he doesn't do enough other good things well, so I don't want him. They didn't recruit him. And I think it would be worth their time if in the future they maybe said,
well, I can say
value
this.
that a little more.
Having a guy that doesn't do all the little things right but can shoot the ball is a lot better than some of the guys they have sitting on their bench doing nothing.
Yeah.
Doing absolutely nothing, of no value to anyone. And when they walked on campus and I saw them play, I'm like, well, good luck getting anything out of this guy.
Just some sort of a spot-up shooter in any way, shape, or form would do wonders for them.
They might have one in next year's class. We'll see. Well,
the future looks bright there too. Like not just the freshmen, but I mean, like the recruiting class they've signed.
I feel
on
really
paper,
good about the future.
Yeah,
but
it's this year that
I come back to this. You shouldn't be bottoming out every 4 years. There should be. And if you look at this roster, the real problem is, and I've pointed this out for years, and everyone says you're just hating, is that Xavier Sneed and Cartier Jada are the only two true freshman recruits of Big 12 starting caliber that they've signed since the Brown, Wade, Stokes class. Mike McGurl, we've had this argument at Go Powercat quite a bit. Is he a starting player in the Big 12? I don't think so. I think he's a great role guy, an energy guy that comes in. But I think essentially this team has replaced Barry Brown with Mike McGurl.
Yeah.
When you stop and think about it, in the starting lineup.
He's borderline. I mean, I don't feel strongly that he is, but I also don't feel, he's absolutely not.
They just haven't had enough guys. Mack was a transfer. You can add him in there, but
I think Sean Williams could become that.
Yeah.
He's not there now.
I mean, he's got the raw athleticism and talent, but it's going to be a question whether he refines it.
I mean, Barry could just be able to get you a tough bucket when you were completely slogged. Whether it was a mid-range shot, whether it was driving to the basket, and it's just like, who does that now for them? I mean, Cardi has it a bit, but beyond that, it's just that's where I feel like if Dejuan could somehow figure out a way to contribute like that offensively, I think that's a leap that they're going to need if they're going to actually take another step this year. He's a good enough. I think he's a good enough defender. His jump shots, it's fine. It's not quite probably where it needs to be, but to be able to create a basket off the dribble, go to the lane, that's what they really need.
Well, I mean, his preseason presser, Weber said that Dejuan was the best shooter on the team.
Yeah,
and their practice. I mean, again, and whether you think that's him just gassing him up or not, I don't know, but I mean that's what we.
It's just as he gets more comfortable, can he score at a better clip and get more production out of him to be able to take a leap?
I'm sorry, I watched half of one practice and I could see Dejuan wasn't a natural shooter. He might be a scorer.
Yeah.
Was not.
Oh, okay.
He has a hitch in his shot, which they have taken some of it out, but there's still an issue there. And if he was such a great scorer, why on Saturday night, late Saturday night, when he was swapping, Coach Weber was swapping offense for defense, was he taking Dejuan out on the offensive end of the floor? I couldn't make sense of that. He was using him defensively. That says a lot about the kid. You're taking a true freshman and putting him in on the defensive end where you think he wouldn't be good.
Especially at guard. Like, it's one thing to be there as a freshman forward, so maybe you're just putting your arms up. And
they were putting him on Marcus Howard.
Yeah.
They were not messing around.
He stripped Marcus one play from behind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I'm really, really optimistic. They got to get Murphy back.
Yep.
He's just one more ingredient that they need. But
he was getting more minutes than anybody before he got hurt. I mean, that's
right.
Impressive.
So K-State needs to employ the Duke, Kentucky. Just put all your freshmen in there and let them ride them.
I think if you're Bruce, you have to be disappointed that nobody from the returning class, not named Cartier or Xavier, has really taken advantage of an extended look. That's got to be your biggest disappointment.
I think Mike McGurl, as of late, has started to.
I don't think he had as many questions maybe about him compared to Levi, Sean, and others on the team. Mike at least has shown that he could contribute in some way in the past.
If you're looking for a ray of sunshine, they are undefeated when Murphy plays.
3-0.
You are a ray of sunshine for that fact.
You ready to go to Newark, Kellis? There you go.
Yeah, it'll be a fun trip.
Are you going?
No.
I'm not really
I'll be watching it at 10:30.
That's Mississippi State, right?
Not really looking forward to the basketball game.
10:30 in the morning here when they tip off.
Well, it's better than 8 p.m. What the hell was that?
Yeah, that was weird.
That was late.
I didn't get that at all. I didn't appreciate it.
Thank you.
ESPN
I didn't
won
appreciate it either. I know. Whatever TV wants, that's what happens.
I did love getting to watch Marcus Howard play. I will say they did a good job on him. Man, that kid can hoop. I love watching him.
He's intriguing. I see why the NBA passed on him last year. He's awfully small.
Yeah.
He's powerfully built, but they list him at 5'11", maybe. Yeah. And I think he just really needs to work on those point guard skills some more. But boy, he makes it look easy.
That fast break three he hit to start.
Oh, it's beautiful.
That was smooth. Like, he stepped right into that and just nailed it. So I like watching him.
But that's what makes me so jealous.
Yeah.
In 10 years of covering Kansas State, I've not seen a single person shoot the ball like that.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Those are the
Why
kids
are they
in
so
March,
lucky?
man, that just take over and they're so fun to watch. It was him and Ja in the first round last year, I think, wasn't it? Marquette played Murray State, and him and Ja just traded blows.
Correct. Yeah,
that whole
that's
first round game.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I had Marquette winning that game.
How about the love from Wojo too for Bramlage?
Yeah,
he was that was pretty cool.
Well, I thought the students were fantastic.
Oh, they were great. They packed it out. That was fun.
I hope that convinces K-State to try and schedule more of those games.
I hope so too.
That was a lot more fun than Alabama State.
I think you tweeted that it felt like a conference game.
Yeah,
in there, and I
like
agree.
a good conference.
Kellis,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Alabama State, like Arkansas Pine Bluff, has been your go-to dog team.
Well, they're both in the SWAC.
But he's just been always bringing up, well, it's not like Arkansas Pine Bluff. He's probably said Arkansas Pine Bluff on this podcast at least 15 times.
Well, they
Golden
were a little
Lions.
bit better than Florida A&M,
Okay.
and they might be better than Alabama State. I don't know.
Well,
but they're all
know.
the link between them. They're all in K-State's home schedule,
Well, maybe what K-State needs to push
which
for.
is really boring.
What K-State needs to push for is to get the automatic bid out of the SWAC. Because they're like, we went undefeated against them.
That would be
That'd
at
be
this
good.
point. Maybe
Come on,
their best
committee.
route.
Look
Maybe
at the record. The numbers don't lie. The North Dakota State win, like Ryan Black has said, looks great. I want to make sure I keep riding that horse till it dies.
Well, with what Kellis said, if I'm Kansas State, I publicly offer a series to Wichita State.
Oh, yeah. Do exactly what they've done
I
with
think it'd be
with
awesome.
with
Because forever
Yeah,
it was
play the
Marshall
game.
saying nobody will play me, and then K-State quietly offered a series last year, and they said no. Go to a press conference or go on Twitter, for God's sake, say, Shockers, when do you want to play? Let's go.
home and home. Let's
Yep.
do it.
I think it would be great. It'd be great for the non-conference. It'd give a little fire, you know.
You said before the season that Konzo and Bruce had talked about Mizzou and K-State playing, right?
Yeah, they wanted to start a series, and
Yeah.
then KU came in and snaked it away from them. So yeah, now
I'm still shocked by that.
Missouri doesn't want to do that
Yeah.
now, and
And they played last year.
The door was open. K-State wanted to play Wichita State a year or two ago, or whenever that was, but Wichita State said,
Yep.
now we're in rebuild mode. We don't want to lose to you. So I don't know if they'll go back to that again.
Or
if they'll ever actually
another
play.
idea is to do exactly the kind of series that Missouri and KU did. Kansas City, Intrust, home arenas. Just mix it up.
Yeah.
I love that. Like
I
I
do
said,
too.
why not
I
do
think
it?
it'd be a lot.
in-
I honestly think, the school K-State probably wouldn't go for it, but I think if you set it up to where K-State controlled half the tickets, you could put it in Wichita at Intrust every
I agree.
year. And it'd be a split crowd.
Well, even if you did one game in Intrust, one game in Sprint, Wichita fans would go to Sprint. They'd have fun doing that.
No, like you said, do games at each home campus, and then do Intrust and do Sprint.
Well, I'm down with go ahead and schedule Nebraska, especially right now.
Do it in Omaha.
Creighton.
Creighton?
Yeah.
I'm in on Creighton. Do
not?
those things instead of the SWAC.
Well, I mean, it is at least what they've done with Tulsa, which we see is happening. Because again, 2 years ago was Wichita, last year was in Tulsa. Here later this month they'll be in Bramlage.
Just throw the fear out the window and care about the fans.
I mean,
man.
Creighton's a
That's all it
perfect
is.
opponent for Sprint. It just is.
Good program. Yeah,
Let's go play
it's
'em.
quality. Most years they're
Or at least give us more North Dakota States. I can't
That's
take
right.
any more of these SWAC schools.
North Dakota State,
I mean,
Summit League tournament champs.
I legit think a team made up of media members could have hung with Florida A&M, and they're super overweight.
Not if
center.
I'm in the rotation.
You could be the coach.
Yeah. I'd Bayheim and pee myself.
You seem like you run like a full court press. Is that what you're about?
I was a point forward,
Oh yeah.
PowerPoint, like before the PowerPoint. Like I'd go play on the block, but then I had to shoot threes.
I don't think anybody calls it a PowerPoint. You're not Microsoft.
But that's my era. That's my era. Yeah, it's,
That's awesome. Okay.
I could stroke it back when I could jump.
Quick question for the panel. Do you guys? I'm taking Ryan's job here. But,
Amen.
So who thinks K-State makes the NCAA tournament?
No,
Anybody?
I never
no.
thought they would.
I thought they'd miss too from the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't
I
even
thought-
think they're really NIT material at this point.
No, I don't.
Well, I think what last game represented, and I want to say Riley asked Bruce this after the game, was that was your best shot at a quality non-conference win, because I think they're a top 30 Ken Palm team. Marquette is, and Ken Palm's not the be-all, end-all, but like everybody else doesn't even crack like the top 50. I think like Mississippi State, St. Louis.
They have to win the rest of their non-con games to even.
No, they have to.
Be in the
yeah.
conversation.
Oh yeah, and
that includes Alabama in January.
They got to pick up a couple impressive conference wins somewhere, and I don't know where.
No, I think at this point, like I said, they have to win out with the non-con, and now I think they have to get at least 10 wins.
Yeah,
in the Big 12.
That's not happening.
Right?
I mean, I could maybe see 9, but
so 500.
8. I don't think he'll do it anymore.
Not with this non-conference.
Unless like
record.
the 8 wins they had were KU twice and
Baylor
twice. Maybe then, but
then the committee would look at the bad losses for K-State. This is how it works at K-State to bring this thing full circle. Then it's about the bad losses, not the good wins.
Well, I was looking back at the schedule actually last night. Because again, I was way before I got here. But does this team at all remind you guys of 2015-16?
No.
They went 5-13 in conference, 17-16 overall. That was the year they beat number 1 Oklahoma.
Was that Browns in them first year?
I guess it would.
It was freshman.
Yeah.
Because it would have been, I guess, when they went on the road and beat Georgia as freshmen.
No, and here's why. You had Marcus Foster in there. Was that the year?
No, that was
the year after.
The next year.
No, there's just something different about this team. I don't know. I mean, that team, you could kind of see something there, but...
That team you could... Yeah, it's just different because that team you knew was building to something else, It wasn't about that season, really. This team has more talent. I just don't know that it fits.
You had just had the Marcus Foster implosion of the program. And they really had, everyone knew they had to restart. And so they went out, I think there was 8 guys in that recruiting class. Only 3 of them panned out. But boy, they were good.
Wes was like the only guy who stayed.
And Wes was the guy. You knew it was going to be rough. And the fans knew it was going to be rough. Fans were overly optimistic about this group. They really were. They were, I think they can make the tournament easy. I think there's, an 8 seed. And I'm like, well, I don't see this.
This current group right now. I think the most interesting part of the year is going to be when Murphy's back healthy and the freshmen take over the minutes. Like, well, we're not.
It's got to happen.
I think it has to. I think Bruce has trended that way a little bit to start. I don't got the numbers in front of me, but we're going to get to a point where it's like, we're not giving pity minutes to Levi or these other guys. Like, we're going Antonio, Montavious, and Dejuan are filling out an 8-man rotation, and that's your best shot at winning.
Yeah, and David Sloan's an interesting guy to me because I think there's something about his game, but I also think he's on the outside looking in and how Bruce wants to play for whatever reason. He's going to play Mike and Carty, and Sloan will be the Levi of the backcourt.
Yeah, I think that's probably what we're going to see.
Well, I hope you haven't been frustrated by the Insiders podcast this week, even though you might be frustrated by K-State basketball and the bowl pick.
Don't be frustrated about the bowl pick, man. I don't know. I just have fun with it.
Well, it's kind of like...
Is there any chance we get a heat wave?
I don't know.
Heat wave roll
It's a
through
great
Memphis?
question. Maybe.
Oh,
that would make it more
that'd be
tolerable.
The weather shouldn't be that. I don't think it'll be.
It was cold last time.
Yeah, it was cold. It was bitter. It's kind of like getting underwear for Christmas, and then after complaining about it, you realize these are damn comfy underwear.
Yeah.
These underwear.
Hopefully I can go. I'm hoping I can go.
You will go.
I'm hoping I can go.
I'll throw my weight around at WIBW. I'll say, dang it, I'm not working there anymore. They go, okay.
Well, you got that kind of pull?
No, I don't. I don't have any pull anywhere, particularly in my own house.
Okay. Is that how we were circling back to football? I know you said we were going to circle back to it.
Oh, do you have a rant?
I can't do it today because my in the interest of my vocal cords and my throat, I'm trying to.
Oh, God. What
you got a concert later?
No, I just have been a little slightly under the weather.
Your compass is pointing south right now.
It's Tyler.
Dynamite drop in.
I don't know. We coming back to football. It doesn't matter where you play. By God, 9 wins is a good season.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a great year. I mean, I don't see how you have many qualms. I mean, I guess the only one.
It's the best first season the K-State coach has ever had.
And it could have been better, I guess. That's the only thing.
A first-year K-State coach.
Like, you beat West Virginia at home, and you're already at 9. You're going for 10. Like, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Really.
It would be at 10 if you don't blow a 14-point lead at Texas.
Yep, that too. But West Virginia just stood out as the only.
Oh no, that's the only loss.
That was the only inexcusable loss where I was like, that can't happen.
Yeah.
The rest of it was understandable to me.
Man, what could have been, what was unexpected, but here they are.
Yeah.
And, the reality is far better than anyone ever expected. I love the people on Twitter. Well, I predicted this. Well, you predicted it, but you were an idiot for doing so. I mean, who rightly predicts 8 wins in a coach's first season picking up a losing program? This isn't Ohio State, for God's sakes. I mean, he picked up a program that had won 5 games. Talent was trending downward. There were no running backs of scholarship on the roster. Mm-hmm. It was crazy.
Two of your top receivers leave before the fall even gets here.
They can coach. I'll give them that. They put it together, but now they got their hands full trying to get this team prepared for Navy, and I'm looking forward to watching Army-Navy for the first time, wire to wire.
I think it's one of the coolest sporting events, period, every year.
I'm sure.
It's awesome. It's awesome to watch.
Gene Taylor will be there probably.
He is going.
Ironic.
Is he? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it at this year?
Philadelphia.
Is it in Philly? Okay.
Interesting. The ties that Gene has to the Navy program, and now they're going to play him early on. So,
well, I think the one thing so many people who all they ever want to focus on is the game and where they're going that they lose sight of is for the coaches and the players. The thing that's almost as important, if not the most important, is just now the 15 extra practices you get.
It's huge.
Because it's a whole extra spring practice that you get. You don't make a bowl, you lose all those.
Didn't hurt him last year, though.
Yeah.
They got better without him last year.
Well, but that's a little bit different.
I actually think the bowls practices are a little overrated.
Yeah, because
I would side with Kellis on this.
I think a lot of teams, honestly, would rather just not even go to some bowl games, not practice. But for this team, I think, especially with the young guys.
Well, there's a yin and yang to it. You pick up bowl practice, but a lot of it is focused on younger players, which is great for a program like Kansas State, don't get me wrong, but it also keeps your coaches off the road recruiting. Now, the early signing period changes that a little bit because a lot of your class is already in the barn, but I don't know. I've always been a fan. If you don't go to a bowl, you get 5 extra spring practices or something like that, just to kind of even it out. Because there is a huge advantage in practice if you
make a bowl. I don't think they should get. I don't think you should get pity practices.
Pity. I like that. That's exactly what they could call them. Pity practices.
Well, that's what I want. It's like, well, we have pity practice number 1 today. They come in and phrase it that way every.
It just seems weird to me that there are regulations on how much you can practice. If you want to practice, just practice. Who cares?
Talk about
Allen
practice.
Iverson didn't want to do it. He was fine. You want to do it all day?
Have you guys noticed how many times Weber has referenced him this year already? It's like at least 3 times.
Yeah, I said that.
I only heard the once. When were the other times?
Okay, well, one time was after, like in a post-game press conference, or either that or one of our maybe it was both, a post-game press conference at Bramlage and like a pre-gaming another one, and then he did it on the radio after the Bradley loss. So maybe that's why you didn't hear that one, because you would have actually just been at the regular presser.
Maybe he's been watching a lot of old
in your shorts and flip-flops while you're down there.
I wore pants. And shoes.
Fine, like your bosses would have known. We know that Fitz never wears pants when he's not here.
I just don't wear pants.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll wear shorts in Newark. Mix it up.
That's a good move.
Wow.
That's a quality move. That'll be really good. Then next week you'll be complaining about your voice.
So I don't know. I'm trying to think of a word that's with R. It's not Ryan's rants. It's Ryan's
ramblings.
I did ramble some today for sure.
Ryan's half-ass efforts.
My biggest takeaway from this whole thing is that you own a compass that.
It is just for looks, guys.
A very mysterious
I just don't
compass.
understand how that's just this.
But you're like the only person in the history to own a compass for looks. Like that.
It just complements my coffee table. That's all it is.
That's the ending point.
Hello, coffee table. You're very nice. You look very nice. You got nice legs. That's it for the Powercat Insiders podcast.
There you go.
Bring it in next week. See if it complements that table.
North.
Okay, the bad thing is, by the way, guys, so it has these little hooks on it where you could like either hang it or whatever. And one of them broke off, so now I've got. It just looks.
Oh, it's not ready for display?
Well, I don't know, guys. I wish we hadn't got on this topic. I kind of screwed myself up even bringing it up.
You're so proud of it.
I think you endeared yourself, honestly.
It is kind of a metaphor for my.
Take a picture of it and change it to your
lack
Twitter
of direction.
avatar.
Lack of direction.
Wow. Whoa, nicely done.
It took me a second, but that was good.
Well done.
There we go. We're out of here. Thanks, Commerce Bank. We didn't miss Matt one bit.
You've been listening to the Powercat Insiders Podcast, presented by Commerce Bank. Powercat Podcast. All rights reserved. GoPowercat.com and Spirit Street Publishing.
With Blue Link Plus, you can access your Hyundai Tucson Limited remotely. Doors unlocked, temperature set, lost car found.
There it is.
Get complimentary class-leading Blue Link Plus. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.